Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about something really important, ionic bonds, and how they help make life on Earth possible. We'll look at what would happen if ionic bonds didn't exist and how it could change everything, especially in our oceans. Ionic bonds are the forces that hold certain atoms together, like in salt, which is made of sodium and chloride. These bonds are super important because they help create ions, tiny charged particles, that are found in seawater. Without ionic bonds, seawater wouldn't have the electrolytes it needs to stay balanced, which is essential for all life. For example, marine animals, like fish, need these ions to balance the salt and water in their bodies. Without them, they wouldn't be able to survive. If ionic bonds didn't exist, it would mess up the ocean's chemistry, and this would affect everything in the sea, from fish to plants and even tiny sea creatures. Also, without ionic bonds, the salts that make the ocean salty wouldn't form. These salts, like sodium chloride, regular salt, are important for things like the carbon cycle and nutrient recycling, which help plants and animals grow. The ocean's pH balance would also become unstable, and that could harm coral reefs and other marine life. So, as you can see, ionic bonds are essential for life on Earth. Without them, life in the ocean and on land could be in serious trouble. Let's dive deeper into how these bonds keep. Imagine if there were no tiny particles called ions in the ocean. Ions are like puzzle pieces with electrical charges, and they are very important for life in the sea. These charged particles, like sodium, Na, potassium, K, chloride, Cl, calcium, Ca superscript 2, and carbonate, CO3 superscript 2, help marine animals and plants do many important things. Without them, many sea creatures wouldn't be able to survive, and the ocean would be a very different place. For example, sea animals need ions to help their muscles work. When you move your body, your muscles need to contract or tighten, and that happens because of ions like sodium and potassium. These ions help send signals from the brain to the muscles. Without these ions, animals wouldn't be able to move, and they would be stuck in one place. In the same way, ions also help nerves send messages to different parts of the body. Without them, animals couldn't feel anything, and their brains wouldn't work properly. This would make it impossible for them to respond to things like danger or food. Another important job that ions do is help marine animals balance the amount of salt in their bodies. The ocean is full of salt, and fish and other sea creatures need to control how much salt is inside them. This is called osmoregulation. Without the help of ions like sodium and chloride, fish wouldn't be able to manage the salt, and they could either dry out or fill up with too much salt, both of which would make them very sick or even kill them. Ions also help form coral reefs, which are home to many sea creatures. Coral reefs are made of a material called calcium carbonate, which is formed when calcium ions and carbonate ions come together. Without these ions, coral reefs wouldn't exist. This means many sea creatures that live in or around the reefs would lose their homes, and the entire ocean ecosystem would suffer. Everything in balance. In addition to helping living creatures, ions also affect the ocean's water. Seawater needs to have a balance of acidity and basicity, pH, to keep marine life safe. Ions help keep this balance steady. Without them, the water would become more acidic, and many sea creatures wouldn't be able to survive in the more acidic water. For example, shellfish, which rely on calcium to make their shells, would struggle if the water becomes too acidic. Ions also help conduct electricity in the ocean. Some sea animals, like sharks and rays, use electrical signals to find food or communicate. If there were no ions to carry electricity in the water, these animals wouldn't be able to do this, making it harder for them to live and thrive. In conclusion, without ions, the ocean would be a very different place. Life in the sea would be impossible for many creatures because ions help them move, breathe, eat, and stay safe. Coral reefs wouldn't exist, and the water would become more acidic, which would harm many species. Ions are also necessary for the ocean's electrical properties, which are important for some animals to communicate and find food. Without ionic bonds, the ocean would not support life, and this would have a huge impact on the planet as a whole. If you enjoy watching videos like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.